The Houston Rockets are in one of the most interesting positions in the NBA for a couple of reasons. Number one, obviously, they just got off their superstar James Harden. And whenever superstars leave a team, join a new team, there's a lot of residue effects. There's a lot of ways that the former team the superstar was on are impacted, right? Of course, and that just makes sense. Superstars, the NBA is a superstar-driven league. When a superstar demands a trade, there are rippling consequences. So basically in today's video, I want to explain why I think the Houston Rockets are in one of the weirdest situations right now, and what I think they can do to get out of it, what are some ways they can get into a hole, etc. Now, before I begin this video, we're the Mix channel. We make daily NBA content. If you like what you're seeing, drop a subscription, subscribe. It really helps a lot. Turn on the bell. Drop a like rating. Helps our videos go to other people. And comment down below what you think. Now let's get started. So first I want to, of course, if you've been living under a rock, I'm going to explain what the Rockets have kind of been going through the past year. So they've had James Harden for, I think, 8 years, maybe 9 years. And he demanded a trade. And the Houston Rockets front office elected to get a package from the Brooklyn Nets with Karis LeVert, other pieces, and a boatload of picks. Now, they then flipped Karis LeVert for Victor Oladipo from the Indiana Pacers. So in the end, they got Victor Oladipo, and they got, I think, 4 first and 4 pick swaps. I might be wrong, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Now, beyond that, before James Harden got traded, they also moved fellow superstar Russell Westbrook to the Washington Wizards for John Wall and a lottery-protected first. Now, I also forgot to mention something very important. They signed Christian Wood, the young center that previously played in Detroit, and now they got Christian Wood on the squad. And we're past the All-Star break now, so we can start evaluating, start looking at exactly what position they're in, what they can do, etc. And like I said, they're in a really weird spot for a couple of reasons. Number one is Victor Oladipo. I think this was a mistake to let go of Karis LeVert for Victor Oladipo for the pure reason that Victor doesn't want to stay. Victor Oladipo declined a pretty good contract, especially coming off an injury, because why would he want to stay in Houston? Victor Oladipo has already said that he wants to play for not just a franchise that he thinks he can trust, but also a franchise that he can win with. And if he didn't think the Indiana Pacers were enough, the Houston Rockets are a complete downgrade. The rebuilding Rockets are not going to get Victor Oladipo where he wants to go, which is obvious. That's why he did not accept that extension. And the issue is, now what are you going to do? He's expiring, and if he just walks for nothing, you basically traded James Harden for 8 picks that you don't even know are valuable. So the Rockets are kind of in a tough situation when it comes to Victor Oladipo. Now, what are some solutions? I think they have to trade him. I think they will trade him. But the question is where, right? So last offseason, there were reports that GMs were not high on Victor Oladipo. They weren't willing to give up that many assets for him. I remember when the Lakers were particularly interested in them, and it was like Kyle Kuzma, Danny Green in a first or something, like that low value, right? That's why I did not like the Rockets getting Victor Oladipo, considering the fact that Karis LeVert is on a multi-year deal, so they have more time to determine what they really want to do with him. Victor Oladipo is younger, and Karis LeVert is younger, and also I think Karis LeVert would be more willing to buy into the system, right? So, Victor Oladipo, kind of a weird spot. And then you have John Wall, and John Wall was playing really well. But that's the problem. When he's playing, like, he still has injury concerns. He's getting older, age 30. He has a big contract, and is he really a piece that the Rockets want, right? Like, I understand that they would have had the same problem if they kept Russell Westbrook, maybe even to a larger extent, but the problem is still there. It's just John Wall kind of makes it unclear the direction that the Houston Rockets are going. That's why I say they're in a very strange position. When you have such a big name former superstar on your team who's older, makes a lot of money, not consistently on the floor, good enough to get you some wins, but kind of in the middle at the cusp of the playoffs, maybe like the combo of Victor Oladipo and John Wall just kind of put them in a very strange situation. And this was compounded by the fact that they have a long list of other veterans that are in this same situation, like PJ Tucker. Like, I understand PJ Tucker already said that he wants to trade. He's been playing really bad, averaging like 4 points a game. Like, it is not good. And I think they agreed to already trade him. And then Eric Gordon, he's been playing very well, but he just got hurt from a groin injury. And he's 32. He makes a lot of money. Also very unclear where he's going to go, right? So there's just a lot of old remnants of the James Harden era that the Rockets have to decide on how they want to move them, how they want to use them, how they want to trade them, whatever, right? But as long as those remnants are still there, it makes it very hard for the Rockets to embrace a full rebuild. Now, I don't want to make it sound like it's been all bad, because there is still light at the end of the tunnel. There's still a lot of things Rockets fans should be looking forward to, right? Things like Christian Wood. Christian Wood was my most improved player before he got that ankle injury. Really sucks. I hope he gets better. But he was averaging 22 points per game. Really good efficiency. 42% from three, right? Like, Christian Wood is an amazing piece to have on a rebuilding roster. They also have other pretty underrated players like Jayshawn Tate. He's been looking pretty good. There's another guy. Oh, what's his name? Kenyon Martin. There you go. That's his name. Kenyon Martin has been showing a lot of promise. Daniel House, he's been pretty decent. So they do have some... oh, wow. I forgot the biggest one. Kevin Porter Jr., of course. Kevin Porter Jr., who came from the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's been playing really good. Granted, it's only been like 1 or 2 games, but he's been really good. He has a lot of potential. Like, he does have a lot of off-court issues, and it is more than likely that those off-court issues resurface again in Houston. But in terms of raw talent, there are pieces in place for the Houston Rockets to move forward, right? And beyond that, beyond the players, because obviously there's more to a franchise, let's talk about coaching and picks in the draft. Let's start with coaching. I like Steven Silas. Do I think he's the best coach ever? No. He's pretty solid. I don't really have much to say about him. He's in a really tough situation. Like, there's a lot of things changing, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of rebuilding around him. So I don't really blame him for the struggles. I think the Rockets, as of the recording of this video, have lost 15 straight. Like, do I blame Steven Silas that the Rockets are the 29th ranked offense? Not really. They lost James Harden. But they do have the 12th ranked defense. I think Steven Silas is having them playing hard, creating good schemes to get stops. So, no, good for him. Like, I can't really make like a verdict on him. I can't really say if he's good or bad because there's not enough time. And then let's talk about the draft. Arguably the most important part of any rebuilding team. And they have a lot of picks. As I said, they have a lot of picks, but I wanted to specifically focus on their most important ones. This year's pick, which is protected but belongs to OKC, and then all of their future picks given by the Nets. Now, if you don't know, when the Rockets had Chris Paul and traded for Russell Westbrook, they gave, I think, 2 first-round picks, and one of them was this year. but it's top 4 protected. Okay, that's important to note. Which means if the Houston Rockets get a pick in the top 4, they get to keep their pick and make a draft selection to put on a Rockets jersey. Which I think should be the Rockets' plan. I'm not a huge fan of tanking because I don't think it gives the fans the best product, but from the way the Rockets' trajectory is looking and with all the factors I mentioned, I think that's what they should I think that's what they should try to shoot for. Get a top 4 pick, because this draft class is loaded. There's guys like Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Jonathan, he's good, Jalen Suggs, right? And I think that would really turn the Houston Rockets around in literally 1 year. You get a John Morant type player. You get a Zion Williamson. Guys who instantly, or LaMelo Ball, guys who instantly change the outlook of your franchise, and boom, the Houston Rockets are right back in it, right? If they get unlucky and fall out of the top 4, that's going to be really hard for the Rockets. The Rockets might be bad for the next 5 years if that happens. So they have to really hope they get into that top 4, pick up a franchise-changing guy, which I think they will. There's a lot of really talented players, and see what happens. And beyond that, I think they have like Nets picks. I don't know specifically what else. I think they have the Clippers pick too. And I'm a little worried because obviously they're not like lottery picks. I don't think the Nets are missing the playoffs sometime soon. But who knows? Maybe in like 8 years, 5 years, 6 years. What if Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden all leave in the same year and the Nets are trash? And then boom, the Rockets get not just a Jalen Suggs this year, but then Jason Tatum-like guy and a Jaylen Brown-like guy. You see, like, yes, those draft picks right now might not look that good, but who knows? That's why draft picks have value. There's so many question marks and unknowns, and when they do pan out, it is huge. It is franchise-changing, right? So, I guess the conclusion to this video is the Rockets are in a very confusing spot, and it can either go really bad or really good. I guess in between two, it can just go okay, but like I said, a lot of veterans from the James Harden era that the Rockets have to decide on what to really do. There's a lot of young guys that I'm big fans of, like Christian Wood, Kevin Porter Jr., etc. Coaching, I think the coaching is solid, and the draft picks. If they can get a top 4 pick, that would be really good for this basketball squad. And then just roll the dice on future picks. Now, that's just my opinion on the Houston Rockets. I watch Rusty Buckets a lot, and he actually made a video on why he has a completely positive outlook. I definitely recommend his channel. In some ways I agree with him, in some ways I disagree with him. These are only my thoughts, as I said in the beginning. Comment down below what your thoughts on the Houston Rockets are, and that's all I have to say, so see you next time.